Well, hello, YouTube. Captain Dave's Sport Fishing YouTube channel, Jacksonville, Florida. Welcome to the live stream. And I am going to try out a new feature here called My Beach Intro. All right. Well, that seemed to have worked. At least it worked for me. And I'm going to let you know that probably Dr. Gary Orwalk will be joining us a little bit later. Christopher Schaefer. Howdy, Captain Dave. Well, howdy, Christopher Schaefer. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see. I got a couple things to talk to you about. It is first thing I'm going to mention is as people get in here, I mean, if we get some people in here, I want to be able to show you something and offer you a deal. Okay, because it's winter. In winter, many times the idea is to keep your feet warm and dry, and maybe not so much in Florida. If you're in Florida, you maybe don't worry about it enough, but I see that these are very, very popular. These, okay, hey, Biker Don's in here. And in Florida, these are still pretty popular. But I had an opportunity. They contacted me to do blasted cat's in here. All righty. Well, that's about enough people to show these boots. They're kind of all the rage, is these rubber over wetsuit neoprene boots. I know I have done reviews on the Extra Toughs, I believe, before. And I think it was just the Extra Toughs that I did. And I said they're kind of like waterproof sneakers. Well, a company named High C reached out to me, and I am going to show you what these are all about. And the thing about it is that they're about half the price. This is the big deal. They're about half the price of Extra Toughs, Sperry, all the other big name brands. And I didn't know they existed. I didn't know they existed either until they contacted me. And it seems to be that they're pretty quality, and they're the same thing as the Extra Toughs and all those other brands at nearly half the price. And here they are. This is just a set of gray ones that come in all different colors. They come in like the camo. They come in the old Extra Tough colors, which are like a brown with a cream toe. As you can see right there, they got this toe guard where it's like double thickness. And what these are is these boots that are rubber over wetsuit neoprene. Okay. So, yeah, you could say they're insulated Crocs with no holes, but they're a bit different. I see almost everybody wearing these. Almost everybody is wearing them. These are called High C. HISEA. And what these are going to be doing is I'm going to do a review on them. And I'm going to wear them. I'm going to see how they hold up. There's the bottom. They don't pick up rocks or anything like that, which my other just leather work boots that I wear on the boat do. Kind of sneakerish. They feel like you're wearing a Converse sneaker. They're all padded inside. And what they're going to do, I mean, right now, I'm going to look, right now as I'm talking to you, right now on Amazon, high sea men's deck boots, saltwater fishing booties, waterproof ankle rain boots, high traction. They've got 5 stars out of 20 ratings, and they're $55.79. $55.79 compared to, let's say, the Extra Toughs, or what is the other one? Yeah, but there's Dieter Melhorn, first time viewer here, I guess you could say, on the live stream. Those have some closer to Extra Toughs, yes. I've worn the Extra Toughs, so I'm going to do a review here of these, and then you're going to be able to get them possibly even cheaper when they send me a coupon code to put in the video. But these are going to be, I'm going to have to really give them the Mayport sea trial. So I thought I'd mention them. I'm kind of a heel guy myself. So after wearing boots with a heel, you put these on and you feel a little like flat-footed, So you could get 2 pair for the price of 1, because these are what would you say? I don't know how you'd put it, but everybody seems to be in the rubber over neoprene. Okay, you got Shimano boots that are kind of foamy, and I mean, it's just this, for some reason, when it comes to the apparel world, Huck makes these. There's just so many brands that are making them, and this high C, I call it high C. I mean, there's the high C. I hear everybody calling them Hasia. I mean, all kinds of stupid things. But I mean, the funny thing is they're making this, reminding me of the Bubba Blade. Bubba Blade. Where this comes with your box, and High Sea Adventurer, open to start the journey with us. And look at this. They give you've joined the High Sea Adventurer, or you've been invited to join the High Sea Adventurer. Lifetime warranty. Let me put that up there so you can see it. They give you a card with a number on it, and it says, earn points with your purchase, discounts with sales notifications, premium customer service, and become an Adventurer Club member. Okay. I mean, it's kind of like, Bubba Blade, inside their packaging was saying, join the Bubba Blade lifestyle. Which, if you ever went back to and checked out my Bubba Blade review versus the Dexter Russell standard of the industry and the commercial fishing industry and the commercial fish houses and charters and things like that, kind of Bubba Blade is selling a lifestyle. So let's see. Dieter says $55 is much cheaper than the Extra Toughs and the Grundens. Yeah, obviously. That they're a little notch in the heel is great for kicking them off when I get home. Oh, yeah, all these boots have the standard. Let's see if I can show it to you. See that little notch right there? That's the kick it off thing. That's kind of all the rubber boots usually have something like that. So I started off this live stream doing this, showing you. I guess they're doing a really big campaign. The problem is in Florida. I mean, they say that these are really breathable and stuff, but I told them, I said, I need some light colors because the sun beating down on them. I put them on and wore them for like 10 minutes while I was cleaning the boat. And I took off leather boots, and I put these on. And I mean, already I could feel my toes were a lot warmer. But then again, it was like 80 degrees outside. So they're probably even way better for somebody who's, where they're freezing is the reason. You know what I mean? So what I was going to do, and Dr. Gary was going to show up here, and I don't know what the hell happened to him. Orwalk was going to come on into this live stream and play his best Ed McMahon. But what I was going to discuss is a little bit of things that probably people don't know about the fishing charter industry and some rants that I have. And I'll call that complaints because I literally said the word rants to somebody the other day, and they did not know what the word rant meant. Oh, wait a minute. Do I see Ed McMahon showing up? Oh my gosh. I kept waiting for him to let me know if he was going to show up or not. So here is Dr. Gary. What's up?
I'm here, buddy.
Man, what happened to you?
No, there was a little thing in the top left-hand corner. It says turn on your mic and camera. It didn't show up right away for some reason. I had to refresh the page a couple of times, and then it showed up.
Oh.
But as you know, better late than never. That's me.
That is you. That is definitely you.
Wow,
so
those look good, Dave.
You didn't hear my spiel about high sea boots?
No, I just said those boots look good. They look good.
They're perfect for you.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask you something. I wanted to ask you something about them.
Yeah.
All rubber boots, a lot of the clothes you wear and stuff. You get one brand, it seems to run a little bit bigger. You get another brand, and it seems to run a little bit smaller than the side. Okay, what would you say those are? Are those a little bigger or a little smaller?
Let's put it this way. I wear a 13. These are 13s. Okay. I have pretty much a wide-ish kind of foot. I slipped them on, and the 13s fit perfectly.
Okay.
Okay, because most of the Chinese companies, they can't get the sizing right. It's always a little off.
Right, exactly.
So, Chris Schaefer says, do they make a 15 wide? No, Chris, I don't know if they make Sasquatch size boots.
15? Those are battleships, man.
Man, that's like, I think you need to go to the Sasquatch store. Let me see. Let me jump off of here. I'm going to go to their website to their listing on Amazon. And the biggest I see right now is 13. And no wide, no thins, no, it's just all the way to 13s. Yeah, Chris Shaver says canoe shoe. Yeah, well, I'd almost say that's beyond canoe shoe. Canoe shoe? You say, hey, where are you from? I'm from Canoe Shoe. Where's that? Wisconsin. Well, I'm gonna wear these and hopefully really get a good idea on them. But the whole idea is of the live stream, I was kind of really wondering what the hell I was going to talk about. And like I said, I'm standing at the boat ramp and I'm talking to a shrimper I know. And he's like, I've been watching some of your videos and blah, 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 and everything. Old Shrimper Joe. And Shrimper Joe, I said I do the live streams. And this week I'm having to do it on a Monday versus a Sunday for the sheer fact that so much has been going on. I mean, I spent from 8 to noon chasing appointments today, medical appointments. So, Blasted Cat says 13 wide. I think they are looking for you on the History Channel. Bigfoot lives. Dieter says he wears a 13 wide and the high C boots are fine for him. For me, they're fine. Okay. I wouldn't think Dieter. Dieter, I would think you're like a size 10. What are you, Gary?
Me, I'm an 11.
You're an 11?
Yeah, I'm an 11.
See, I always thought you were Sasquatch foot too.
No, size 11, but double wide at a minimum. Sometimes triple wide.
Triple wide?
Sometimes, yeah.
Oh my gosh, isn't that called surfboard shoes?
Surfboard, water ski, snowboard. If you're up here in the north, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's better than canoe shoe. Well, I was kind of struggling of what we were going to do because of the fact that what we're going to chit chat here about. And the more I thought of it, it's the same as I wish Blake was on here. Maybe Blake will show up. It's kind of the same that every, I guess, small business person would rant about. Rant meaning complain. It's just so much I've seen change in my 25 plus years in the charter business. Let me tell you, I mean, it's absolute night and day. And I'll tell you what the biggest problem is. The internet. That's what the problem is. Because of the fact in an internet, you have to have websites, this and that. And I mean, it's just so much that it's kind of like what, I don't know if anybody here watches Mark Dice on YouTube. Mark Dice, I don't know what to call him. He's an author. He writes books. They call him if you know who Alex Jones is, you would know who Mark Dice is. You know who these people are, Gary?
Well, I'm subscribed to Mark Dice.
Oh, okay. Well, you know him.
I'm subbed in Alex Jones. Yeah, he's okay. He got sued recently, I think, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, everybody puts these people in what they call the conspiracy theorist type category, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about as a YouTube guy with just so many views and so much going on and so many channels and writing books at the same time and selling merch like it's crazy. Okay. He actually said one time that he could spend an extra 8 hours a day doing nothing but keeping up with social media and all this and TikToks and every new little BS thing that comes out and Facebook and all this to spread his videos around. And it's almost like the same thing as, charter fishing. Okay. You'd think that would be a simple thing. Yes, 25 years ago, all I basically did was write magazine articles and a fishing mullet wrapper, the first ever fishing rag in Jacksonville, Florida. I had a column in there every single month. And people don't even realize that now, that there was an original one and then there's all these copies now, Coastal Angler and all this stuff. But I did that, and I talked to my Bell South Yellow Page rep once a year, and I got my half-inch ad in Bell South Yellow Pages. Well, now I've got website that doesn't work, and I mean it works, but then all these things happen to it, and I'm always calling the company, and they baffle you with BS with all this stuff and all these charges and everything. So then I'm now getting rid of them, and I'm having a new website built from a Canadian up in Nova Scotia for a quarter the price. And he knows so much stuff. I mean, what I'm learning from him. Yeah, they call Mark, Biker Don says they call Mark Dice a pundit, a political pundit. Yeah. But I mean, I just think when he said that he could spend 8 hours a day just working on all this other stuff, besides doing what his main thing is writing books and making a video. I mean, I could spend so much time, hours and hours out of the week, trying to keep up with all this website stuff. Because if you don't have a website, then you're not on Google, you're not on the search engines, you're not this, then you got this piece of crap to deal with. And it's this thing right here. Oh my God, this is what rules the world. I use a laptop for everything. I don't watch videos on this. I look at my email and maybe texting or a walk. That's it. I look at my email and I talk on it. I don't spend my life on this. Well, everybody else does. So then you have to have your website look fantastic on this. It's as if laptops and desktop computers don't even exist anymore. This is old stuff. So I'm getting this new website built, and I'm having to look at it on my phone so I can see what other people see. And it's just all the little stuff. And with the internet came, okay, I'll give people more of an example. Came Angie's List. Everybody knows who Angie's List is? So if you're like a window company or a carpet company or a carpenter or a contractor or whatever, a gardener, whatever, you get referrals from being on Angie's List. Well, oh my God. The people that are making the least amount of money, kind of, is who these people have attacked. I look at it as an attack. If you're not, you got to be listed with all these people on these things. They're trying to make money off of poor fishermen. Okay. If you're not listed with us, because what they do is they have the power of I think of it as like ants. All these people that are paying them a percentage. And then what do? They fill the entire page of Google up with ads. Ads. Me and my dad were just talking the other day. Does organic searches on Google or many of the other search search places out there, is organic? Does it even mean anything anymore? I asked that to my new website builder. And he said, well, it's kind of 50-50, depending on what, what business you're in. Because you look now and you search for a plumber, and you've got the top of Google is solid ads before you get to a plumber's website. And then that brings me to the next thing. Do you know nobody looks at websites anymore? I mean, if you're on vacation, let's say, you're going to pull up your dumb phone and you're going to go, what is the closest fishing charter to me or something, right? And I've learned over the years just to put your phone number there and people will call you. So that means they call you, but they never go to your website. They don't ever go to it, and they don't know what size boat you have, what kind of fishing you do. Here's what I hear most of the time, and I tell people I don't even know what it means. Do you go deep sea fishing? And I go, deep sea fishing? And I'm thinking, yeah, how deep do you want to go? It's 85 feet at the inside of the inlet where I fish that nobody fishes because it's the abyss. And you can't get 85 feet from that hole on the inside of the inlet. There's two 85-foot holes. If you want to match that offshore, you're going 20 miles, 25 miles to get to 85 feet. So how deep do you want to go? Deep sea fishing for the interior of America is basically the buzzword for I wants to go saltwater fishing. That's all it means. That's all it really means. Because I ask people, I go, deep sea fishing, what's that mean to you? You know, because I don't necessarily call what I do deep sea fishing, but believe it or not, I've been sitting up in the St. Johns River 8 miles from the ocean, and I've had people on my boat, and they go, I just love deep sea fishing. And I'm like, we are so far from deep sea fishing. You got them where you are, Jerry. You got the party boats.
Oh man, we sure do.
Yeah, the Northeast.
I call them the bay vacuums because they vacuum all the fish out.
Exactly. Party boats. There might be people here that visit my channel. They don't even know what a party boat is because I don't know. I say to people, I had a call the other day where a guy says, oh, so you're not one of the boats where you get on like 20 people? I said, dude, 20 people. Our party boats don't even leave the dock unless you have like 24, 25 people, because that's how they break even. I said 40. They shove 40 people on there, So it's what it boils down to is they're always looking for the cheap. And the guy says, I said to him, oh, you must be looking for the party boat. And he goes, no, I don't want a party. I want to fish. I'm like, no, dude, it's the deep sea fishing with a lot of people called a big party of people, So let's see. Dieter says something about that. Last year, 92% of my charters came from folks that knew me from YouTube channel. I'm glad the yellow pages are long gone. Well, let me put it this way. The yellow pages was the cat's ass because that's all we had. Okay. Besides doing an article in a magazine or something like that I used to do. I mean, I started this YouTube channel in 2007, I think, believe it or not, was my first video with a crappy camera that in today's standards wouldn't even make it onto the cheapest cell phone. Okay. And it was real yellowy. It made the everything real, the light was real yellowy. And I believe I said to myself, the only thing I'm really going to do is videos to show people of what they'll be doing on their fishing trip. That's all I want to do is just expose people of what they'll be doing on their fishing trip. Well, over the years, a little bit of that has worked. but it's not like you would think, because I don't know how many people are going around, your Lake Willie Tonga or whatever up where you're at, Dieter. But around here in Florida, there is a charter boat on every street corner, and everybody and their brother wants to be a glorified fishing guide and do charters and all this stuff. That's the way it's become, because in all reality, they've made it way too easy. It's been way too easy to get like a 6-pack license. Way, way too easy. I don't know what lake guys do. There's so many guys on lakes and stuff doing it too. So I don't know. It's just every year it just seems to get a little tougher and tougher trying to keep up with this website stuff. And I mean, the money, my present website right now that's up there on the internet, probably I've got $4,000 in. $4,000. I mean, that's a lot. And then it took them so long to do it. I got how many pages? I've got the home page. I've got a gallery page. I've got a videos page. Let's see what else. I got a kids fishing page. So I got like 5 or maybe 6 pages. I'm going down to 1 page. 1 page with info on it. That's it. That shows up good on a dumb phone. Because if you don't do anything with this, who was it last live stream? Oh, it was Shore Sharp. Doesn't even own a laptop. Didn't you say that, Gary?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, doesn't even own a laptop. Just flies by the seat of his pants with his dumb phone. I mean, I don't know, but it's just so much to keep up with that I've noticed over the years that the websites really don't matter anymore, because see, you get into these booking agencies and they'll build you a website. They'll build you one. They give you a 1 page and they list it on theirs. And then I've had people say to me, I'm on your website. And I go, what's at the top of it? And they tell me, and I said, no, you're not on my website. But these booking agencies trick people into thinking they're on your website. And they're not. So they actually, the way I looked at it, I told them one time, I believe you're a competitor. You're competing with me. And they went, no, we're your partner. I don't know. Anybody who, and then there's, as we all know, if you have a Facebook page, you have a website. So that means that Maasai tribalman with his iPhone herding his cattle across Africa can join Facebook on his iPhone when he's standing out in the middle of the desert, tapping his cows on the back with a stick, wearing a big sheet, okay, with his iPhone, because I saw that on a documentary. He can have a website because that person has a Facebook page. So that means everybody across the entire earth can have a website. They have a website because they got a Facebook page. Then the people who use that Facebook page for, let's say, their charter website or something, I don't give them one thought. Because that is like the cheapest way of going. Websites were supposed to be, back in the day, an online portfolio of your, say, charter business or something. Everything is going, hey, Dieter, I can't do, what do you call it? YouTube shorts. because my dumb phone is a couple years too old. How about that? Too old. YouTube told me, go get a new phone. Oh, really? Well, why don't they set me up with a new phone? So I can't do the competition for TikTok. I can't do that because that's all these whole YouTube short BS is all about. You know, it's it's a lot to put up with. So you sign up for all these booking agencies, right? And if you were let's say you were a trim carpenter or you were a tile guy, it's all the same. Either you are signed up with all these people or you're just not going to get any business because the whole top of god dang Google ain't nothing but their bullshit ads because they want to make money off of you. It's funny how everybody wants to make money with this technology here, and they don't know diddly shit. Yeah, fishing booker. Yeah, it's for the dumb shits that just go, oh look, the top of the page, fishing booker. Oh, let me go. And there's thousands of guys on fishing booker. And you know what? They're not even Americans. This is what pisses me off is they're all a bunch of, what are they? Serbians or something? Western Europe over here taking over all of Canada, all of the East Coast, all of the West Coast, all of the Bahamas and the Caribbean, and taking over all of Australia. Because I asked them. I can't stand fishing booker. I've been signed up with them since the day they made that URL, fishingbooker.net or whatever. And they have sent me 4 people. I get a lot of tourists through there and less serious anglers. Yeah, let me give you an example of the type of customers that run through Fishing Booker. A kid that I have known since he was 10 is now 25. Okay. He goes in, you don't have to have, this is what kills me, on these booking agencies, and there's several of them out there, you don't have to have a website. You don't have to take credit cards. You don't have to have a goddamn email. You don't have to do any kind of extracurricular activities. All you have to do is be a servant to them. And you need to get as many possible likes, Chinese social credit score bullshit through them. Okay? And then they will pay you and you become an employee of Fishing Booker. You think you're not, but you are one of their employees. Because anybody who is probably kind of sending you a 1099 a year, okay, I consider you're kind of like an employee. Same thing with YouTube. YouTube would not be shit if it wasn't for us, right? That's how it is. Fishing Booker would not be shit without people with a boat who think they know what they're doing, and then they don't have to have a website. They don't have to have an email. They don't have to have nothing. They just sign up and I'm in the charter fishing business. Oh, I'm just such a badass. No. They used to have a guy when Fishing Booker started. There was a guy with a 16-foot goddamn John boat in his garage piled up with his kids' bicycles. And for $100, I'll take you out in my John boat through Fishing Booker. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. It's just, it brings in all the, what I call part-timers, the lawyers that are / charter guys on the weekend, the doctors the whatever, the play the game. They want to play, I'm a charter fishing guide or whatever. To me, it's all a bunch of bullshit. And rightfully so, because this is what I've been doing for 26 years. I mean, I just thought about it the other day. If I make it through the Biden economy, just like I made it through the China plague, I made it through the 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011 economic collapse of the entire goddamn globe. Okay. And I hit 30 years during this. I'm going to throw myself a goddamn party because I can't believe the shit that I have made it through. You know what I mean? That's me and Gary talk about this stuff all the time, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
It's just unbelievable. And everybody is, and the thing about places like Fishing Booker, they don't want you to charge more to go through there. Oh, you have to, well, guess what? I'm not going to have prices on my website next time around. So Fishing Booker can shove it up their ass because I can tell them $1,000 or something and they'll say, oh, well, is that your published rates? No, my rate is whatever I want it to be, Fishing Booker. I'm not answering to them. They really, really, really piss me off. And they don't do anything. You can give them 25% of your charter fee, and they still don't send you anybody unless you're they got their little Chinese social credit score going on. So, hey, Short Sharp, how's it going, buddy? We were just talking about you. Were your ears on fire? We were just saying, you don't have a laptop or nothing. You're flying by the old, you want to. Dieter wants to come to my party, my 30th year party. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I look at these guys. Let me tell you, here's how I see it. Okay, I'm going to tell you the real poop. Guy goes out and he buys $200,000 stupid ass bay boat. Okay, the salesman sells him every kind of dang piece of crap that you can put on there. He's got two 12-inch electronic, screens built into his dash. He's got his trolling motor, his easy button. He's got his key fobs around his neck. Looks like a freaking rapper. He got so much crap hanging around his neck. His double power poles out the back. He's got the T-top with the tower that you can drive in from up there with separate electronics up there. He's got the boat that he always wanted. And his wife says, you better figure out a way to pay for all that bullshit. And he goes, well, I'll go into charter business. How about that? Oh, I signed myself up for all these online booking agencies, right? Oh, I'm going to get some business. I'm going to do it. And when I see these guys on holidays, you don't see them. You do not see these guys out on a Monday morning at 7 a.m. just like a couple weeks ago when you leave the dock and it's 30 degrees in Jacksonville, Florida, and the wind's blowing. You don't see them then. You see them, off in these holidays or 4th of July. Oh, everybody's got to be out on the water, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. The salesman at the boat store sold him all the unnecessary bullshit that you don't need. Number one, 99% of the time, the boat you want isn't the boat that makes the greatest charter boat. That's for damn sure. Because number one, you add all that crap on the boat, I mean, around here, I'm just speaking for around here. I'm not speaking for like South Texas or anything. But half of that crap you don't need. You don't even need it. Double power poles and all that. Man. I wish, Gary, don't you wish sometimes that you were in the boat sales business? not as a boats, like a yard, a boat dealership. But sometimes I wish I was especially during the Trump era, and everybody and their brother was buying a boat. I wish I was a salesman so I could sell them all that garbage that they don't need. That's just going to break eventually, right?
Well, actually, I was gonna make a surprise announcement that I was gonna start a charter fishing business, but that's out the window now. I'm not,
Oh, well, hey, you'd be up against all those guys with them fancy bullshit boats up there.
I'm not going to do it now, Dave. It just you sucked all the life out of that dream.
Hey, that's what I'm talking here. This was a rant. This was stuff that it just bugs the shit out of me when I see some dude with a $200,000 bay boat. I mean, did Daddy buy that for you or what? Because let me tell you, you're not paying for that for your 5 charters a year out of goddamn fishing booker. I mean, come on. Hey, Frank, how's it going, buddy? Glad to see you. Glad to see you. You just missed a little bit of the rant. Frank tell us where you're at. You're in what, Mobile Bay? Is that where you're at, Frank? Because, boy, I'll tell you. I mean, I'd love to be over there. Oh, my God. Can you imagine fishing, Gary, where you don't even worry about the tides or the current or anything?
Well, all I can say is I really don't know where Mobile Bay is, but if I had to guess, I would say it was in Louisiana.
No.
Am I right? No?
No.
Where is it? Where's Mobile Bay?
Step back. It's in, what is it? Mobile Bay in Mobile, Alabama.
Oh, okay. You know what? Yeah.
Mobile County in Mobile, Alabama. Come on now.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, hey, you would make a hell of a damn charter customer. You wouldn't know where the hell you're at.
Yeah, I would. I would at that. Well, you killed that, Dave. You killed it. So
I killed it. I'm sorry.
Moving on.
I probably killed it for a lot of people. I know. I apologize. That, you learn a lot over the course of all these years, and you see a lot. I mean, I never thought, and I did. I mean, in one part of my brain, I thought that you get one. Let's say you get one boat and you stick with it, right? I mean, Gary, how long have you owned your Pro Line?
Oh God, it's got to be 20 years, easily 20 years.
That's all?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say 20, maybe 25. I don't know. Yeah, I guess maybe closer to 25, somewhere there about.
I'm going to see. Let me see how long I've owned mine, because I probably can't do the math correctly. I'm going to count 2023 as part of the ownership of my boat. So let's see. I want to do the math because I'm so bad at math. Let's see here. Wait a minute. I can't even operate. When it comes to stuff, I can't even operate the calculator on this phone.
Well, do it on the laptop.
No, I'm not. Okay, I'm going to count 2023. All right. This year, right now, 17 years I've had my boat.
Wow.
17 years. Now, did I know that 17 years ago? Yeah, I pretty much said, okay, this is probably going to be my last boat. Right? I said that. Did I mean it? Hell no. To quote a friend of mine, once you get a boat rigged exactly the way you want it, it's time to get rid of it. That's what the story is. Soon as you got it exactly the way you want it, time to get rid of it. Because half the fun of boat ownership is spending more money, right?
Yeah, that's always a joy. That's
Mhm.
always a joy spending all your money on that hole in the water.
Well, Frank says Mobile Delta is as good as Louisiana. Trust me. Oh, I'm sure it is. Let me tell you, Frank. I we have sort of a saying. People don't say it out loud in Jacksonville, Florida, which is kind of like, really? I mean, there's people that don't even know where Jacksonville, Florida is. They don't even know. I talk to people on the internet or whatever. They don't even know where Jacksonville, Florida is. But probably one of the little things is everything is better in the Gulf of Mexico when it comes to especially inshore fishing, if not offshore. Because you know why? In Florida, there's less people on the Gulf than there is on the Atlantic side. I took a customer, Frank, from Mobile Bay Delta area, and I have a video of him on my YouTube channel, and he was a super great guy. And it was just him and me. His son was supposed to show up, but he just never showed up for whatever reason. So we went out and we caught jack crevalles. It was that time of year where it was not blazing hot summer, I think, but it wasn't, uh, spring either. There's that little gap in there, I'd say middle, late May through June. It's not 110 degrees in the shade and hard to breathe by 12 o'clock. The humidity so bad. But I took him out and I said, "Where are you from again?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, Mobile Bay." He said he owned 800 feet of bulkhead on Mobile Bay or something. And he had two boats. He had like a 28 Grady White, walk around cuddy with twins on it. And he said he had like I don't know, like an 18-foot flat bottom, just big giant John boat. And he said, of course, he uses that more than anything. And we were using to hit the bottom, I think we were in like 8 feet of water. We were using 3/4 ounces of lead on this spot. Might have been more. And he said, "What are we doing?" I said, What do you mean?" He's like, "Man, these big old goddamn sinkers." Right? And I said, "Well, what the heck do you use?" He says, "A pinch on split shot."
Oh.
And I said, "What?" And he goes, "Dave," he says, "a deep spot near me where I fish." He said, a abyss. It's the abyss is 18 feet of water. And I said, "So what's the normal?" He said, 4 feet or less is where I fish. He says, "So if the current is really bad or the wind or, whatever tide they do have there, if it's really bad," he says, "I go to 2 split shots." Well, then he realized, I believe later on when we went out, we were fishing the main part of the river, how we were using 4 and 6 ounces to hit the bottom in 25 foot. He was blown away, could not believe that we were having to use this. So, that's the reason we always say sometimes everything's a little better over in the Gulf. So I'm a bit jealous, Frank, a bit jealous. So tell me if are you just a split shot user when you go fishing? So that's the big difference between over there high and low every 12 hours when their tides. They got high and low every 12 hours. Here, high and low every 6 hours. And because we're the furthest north, basically, in the state of Florida, we have the most tidal range. You go down all the way down towards Miami and the Keys, and the tidal range goes like this. It's less, So it's like I've said before, you watch those guys over in Louisiana and they're fishing, and if they have to use a 3/8 ounce jig head or something, they're complaining. At least Chaz Champagne and all those guys seem to always kind of complain when they're using a heavier jig head and they're soft plastic. You just don't get the fish that light around here, unless you're always in some shallow water situation. But then again, I used to use a lot of DOA shrimps. Does anybody ever even think about using anything like that up in Long Island, Gary? You know what a DOA shrimp is?
Dead on arrival.
Yeah,
dead shrimp.
They call it the DOA shrimp is deadly on anything. That's what.
Oh, okay. All right. Dead shrimp. Well, I got to tell you, one of the. This is old school now, but you probably remember them, the salty dog lure. You remember the salty dog?
Yeah,
they were based on shrimp. They were basically a shrimp with a jig head in them, and they did quite well.
Okay,
but
well, a DOA shrimp is a rubber shrimp with an internal weight and an internal hook, and everybody in the world has knocked them off. He was the designer of the original mainstream rubber shrimp. Okay, and they came with a little belly weight stuck in them. Well, I've been fishing in literally 3 to 4 foot of water using a DOA shrimp catching trout, where we had to put a leader, a swivel, and then put a 1 ounce egg. And we cast it cross current, and let it roll across the current, and then you'd be catching trout on it. But I mean, even a simple thing like that, we got to put weight on it on certain times.
Yeah, man.
Frank says, I fished the St. John's when I was stationed in Mayport. You and everybody else in the 70s. I loved the St. John's back then. Why? That's what I want to know. Why? Because it was different than Mobile? Back in the 70s. Yeah, back in the 70s, oh my God, there must have been tons of fish. When you were stationed in Mayport in the 70s, that Navy basin where they parked those ships probably was only an eighth polluted as it is now. I mean, I have sat at years ago, I sat on the St. John's is not what it was back then, that's for sure. Number one, it's dredged to China. Number two, oh my gosh. Blasted Cat says it's not what it was back then. I sat at the mouth of that carrier basin before on a little point that's there that you're now not allowed to fish because you're a threat to the national security of this entire nation because the Navy's security is so poor. I know. That's exactly what I did in the Air Force. Okay? And if their security is so bad that when I've got Bob and Alice and little Jimmy from Washington, Wisconsin on my boat, we're a threat to the national security of this nation, it's terrible. The flounders were nonstop. Yeah. But I used to sit there and watch the diesel fuel on the surface of the water come pouring out of that goddamn Navy basin. They would just pump the bilges right in there. Oh my God. I called the Coast Guard on the Navy. How about that? I had to call the Coast Guard on the Navy and say, you better come out here with barges full of those oil floater things because it's ridiculous what they're doing in here. Every year, some of the biggest flounder come from from inside that Navy basin, Frank. That's where all your super 10-pounders and stuff come from. Because as we always say, when the flounder come in from offshore, they put a patch on one eye and only see that Navy basin. They come in and they go straight into that basin. Because if you go into that basin, you're getting away from the 4 and 5 knot goddamn current that's in that St. Johns River. Okay? And those flounder they want to be up in there when that bait stacks up. Everybody around here wants to be where the current isn't ripping. That's the problem. And it's hard to find a place where the current isn't ripping. If you're in the main river, even the intercoastal waterway, man, the current. So, yep, the flounder in there is nonstop. And some of the biggest, what we call yellowmouth trout, come from up in there. The weakfish, really, really, really big weakfish get up in there, and sea trout too. So I think my heat just came on because, yeah, I actually had my heat on this morning. It was kind of chilly. It was 65 in the house. That's kind of chilly.
Yeah, that's cold, Dave. That's real cold.
All right. Well, let's see. Anybody else got any St. Johns River or St. Johns River Inlet comments? Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not what it used to be because they keep dredging it. The more you dredge, the more you ruin. That's just the way it is. I was sitting along a spot the other day, and I was telling people with their little kids. Where we're fishing right here used to be the shoreline. And now the shoreline's 100 yards over that way instead of where we were. So, but let's see. Is there any other commenters that I didn't answer? Oh, yeah.
Flounders, you mean fluke, right?
Yeah, fish that lay on the bottom, Gary. Fish that lay.
Well, we have flounder and fluke up here. There's winter flounder, which don't get as big. They're actually flounder, and then the bigger guys are fluke. They're two different animals.
Well, I don't believe we have fluke. Only flounder. Southern flounder, left-eyed or right-eyed.
Yeah.
You ever hear that?
Yeah.
A right-eyed flounder and a left-eyed flounder?
A right-eyed flounder and a left-eyed flounder?
A right-eyed flounder and a left-eyed flounder.
No, I don't know what that is.
Their eyes are this way, or their eyes are this way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you.
Left-eyed, right-eyed, or something.
No, Dave, I'll tell you, I think a lot of places are just not what they used to be. There's just more people. There's more boats. It's not the same up here as it used to be. Mm-hmm. You know, when I was a kid, the water would boil with weakfish on any given day. Yeah. It's just not like that anymore. You know, it's just there's more people, more boats, more shit going in the water. You know, it's just different. It's just, you know, it's not what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, Blasted Cat says there was a time back then when a 10-pound sea trout didn't turn a head.
You know? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen it just in the last 10 years. Things are totally different. I caught with a customer along the Navy base where I'm not allowed to fish now, or I am considered a threat to the security of America. I sat and caught a 3, a 5, and a 10 in 3 drifts of my float rig under a pier. And I'm not allowed to fish there anymore. And that was April 29th of 2009. You go there now, if you'll probably be lucky to catch a 3-pounder or a 5-pounder. I don't even know, since you're not allowed to fish there, what the fishing's like. But we do call it the United States Navy Fish Preservation Zone because you have to sneak in there before you get, they turn you away. They either run out in a Navy boat and tell you you're fishing in restricted waters, or you get some cop pull up on the bank and he bullhorns you and tells you you're fishing in a restricted area and stuff. But Bob and Alice, who put their bayliner in with their kids and go and anchor up there, they don't know that stuff. They don't know that. So I don't think those fish are the same. I've noticed even at the Mayport jetties, the trout fishing, there doesn't seem to be the same as it was just 5 or 6 years ago. So it's really tough. Let's see. Blasted Cat says the top 3 fishing spots from back in the day are off limits now because I'm a terrorist. Well, of course. Oh, man. Yeah, we're all terrorists. Hell, if you think America first right now, America first. If you think America first, you're a terrorist according to, Dan Crenshaw. The guy with the patch on his eye. Where's he from? Texas? I don't know where he's from. The politician.
Yeah, I think he's from Texas.
Yeah, he's calling America, people who believe that America is first, should be first, they're terrorists. So yeah, there's around here, it's funny. It's funny how you can tie off to a bridge here, and the coasties will come over and tell you that it's illegal to tie off to that bridge. And I said to him, why? Why, if I tie off to this bridge, is it a $28,000 fine or 5 years imprisonment? And they said, because it is a federal bridge, federal highway, which, an 18-year-old standing with an M60 machine gun on the front of a Coast Guard boat probably doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. Okay. But they chase you off of the bridge. And here I'm watching over in Louisiana, going over the Wrigley's area of Lake Pontchartrain. It's called the Wrigley's. It goes out of Lake Pontchartrain into and by Lake St. Catherine into Lake Bourne. And it's this deep area over, on the Slide Hill side of Louisiana. Well, there's a big railroad bridge going over, and everybody hangs a rope off the bottom of the railroad bridge and ties off their boat and fishes under there. What is the difference? Why is it over there they've got ropes hanging off a bridge so they can go over and tie off to it? And here you go over to a bridge and you just tie off with a rope because you're fishing in the current on the backside of the bridge or something, and you're referred to as a terrorist. I'd never understood that. Let me ask Frank. Frank says, fishing has changed over the last 60 years, I promise. Yep. If you're over there in Mobile Bay and there's a bridge or something, and let's say you tie off to a bridge and fish, are you going to be run off by the coasties over there, Frank? Because it seems like there's a bit of a different attitude over there. Now, you do have, is there a military installation anywhere over in Mobile? I believe there is, isn't there? What's over there? I don't know. I'd have to look at a map, because it seems that around here, everybody's like looking for somebody to call a terrorist. That's what it seems like. You know, you just can't pull up somewhere. I got told by the Coast Guard I was tied off to a no wake sign, and they passed me and drove a mile down the river and turned around and came back and told me $28,000 fine or 5 years in prison for tying off to that sign. I said, well, my taxes bought that sign. I said, what's the big deal? I'm not hurting it. It's a nylon rope around a pressure treated piling that big around. And they said, well, you can anchor. And I had a customer, you'd like this, Gary. I had a customer who was a original, like, Brooklyn, New Yorker, retired NYPD. Okay, back in the old days. This guy ain't even alive anymore. And he fished with me several times. And he comes walking from the back of the boat up to the front. And there's this coastie guy on the front of the boat. And he's going, $28,000 fine or 5 years in prison. What do you want? Untie from that piling. And this guy, what was his name? Don Bergeron. Don Bergeron.
Don Bergeron?
Don Bergeron. French.
Bergeron?
Bergeron, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, Don.
Never heard of it.
Don Bergeron. He comes walking from the back of the boat up to the bow where the coastie was, and I'm standing. And this is the way this guy was. He hears this $28,000 fine, 5 years in prison. He walks up and he goes, hey, do I get a kiss with that? And I go, Don, get in the back of the boat. Don, shut up. Get in the back of the boat. It was only him and me. But that's the way Don, that's his whole life was that way. I mean, I heard him say stuff to people at the boat ramp that I was like, what the hell's he talking to that guy for? You know, he's like over there giving this guy the grief at the boat ramp, you know, for, I don't know, whatever. But he moved down here and became a handyman. And he had a like old Ford Econoline van that had shag carpeting, 360 degrees inside of it. And that's where he kept all of his tools and everything. And he was an unbelievable guy. So we use bridge hooks. The Austell Boatyard is restricted fishing area. Specks and flounders and reds. Bridge hooks, yeah. Well, at least you're allowed to use something to tie off. What is, I guess, the Austell Boatyard is restricted fishing area because they probably put military crap in there or something. We have a shipyard here that is now a government shipyard where it's a company that does all government stuff. But when it was privately owned, it was a flounder mecca inside this shipyard because they have 3 rails running into the water with dry docks. And oh my God, the flounder that used to stack up in there. And now you go in there and you're a threat to national security too. So we got a boatyard that's like that too. But yeah, I mean, Don was unbelievable. How about Austral builds U.S. Navy ships. That's what I figured. Yeah, that's what I figured. But Don was old school New York police. Let me tell you. Here's what he told me. You'll like this story, Gary. And I told him, I said, should you be telling me this? He says, oh man, back in my day, we used to, we were on foot walking around Times Square and stuff like that. And he says, we'd catch one of them punky ass kids. Oh, literal combat ships. Oh, okay. Thomas Jost says literal combat ships. That's what they build over there. All right. Well, he told me, he says, we'd be catching them dang pickpocketers and purse snatchers. And we'd take them into the, we'd take them into an alley and push them up against the wall. He says, my partner, while I was talking to him, would kick them sideways on the knee and they would drop like flies. And he'd go, they'd take the purse or whatever and go give it back to the old lady screaming on the street about losing her purse. And I said, why'd you do that? And he says, because we didn't want to do the paperwork. We just wanted to teach him a lesson. And I went, should you be telling me this? You know? Let's see. Blasted Cat says, we got chased down and threatened with jail for drifting too close to the BP dock. Yeah, got yelled at the entire time back in the day when we were tie off at the same dock. It's anger mixed with sadness now. Yep, that's for sure. That's for sure. I think the docks you're probably talking about. Are you talking about the Blasted Cat? Are you talking about what used to be called the Gulf dock? What you can let me know. Yeah, Frank says they build new steel hulls there. And well, I had a friend that worked at a shipyard here that got offered a job over in Mobile and he didn't take it. And I said to him, why not? I mean, I said, why didn't you go over there, man? You know, but yeah, I fish all down in that area too. We always called it the Gulf dock, but I never had to really tie off to it. So around here, that's the difference. You go and you tie off to a spot that you fished forever and a day, and the coasties run you out. I got during 9/11, during that whole 9/11 time, I was sitting at, I believe, Blasted Cat, maybe the same docks you're talking about. I call it the Gulf dock. And we were drifting our floats underneath this dock. And I literally had a 10-year-old and mom and dad. And they were from like Missouri. And here comes the coasties, come blasting down the river, rip into where this dock is, pull in behind me with an M60 machine gun sitting on the front, pointing right into my boat. And these people about shit their britches and told us, you need to be 100 feet from this dock. And I said, man, I'm probably 60. I mean, it's almost, I don't measure it when I come in here. And they said, you need to be 100 feet from this dock. So I pulled my anchor. They took off. And then I just dropped my anchor back to where I was. And we continued fishing. And I had to apologize. You know, mouth of Broward River at night. Yes. The docks at the mouth of Broward River at night and the lights for trout. Yeah. I don't fish at night, so I never go down there at night. But the guys that work on the docks always told me what it's like at night. Yeah. Yeah, I was down there and they did the same thing to me. But that was way back in that was back by the whole 9/11 time. And they said, this is what did they say? Something about they lie, the coasties lie through their teeth just to make their point. This is a federal piece of property. No, it's a privately owned oil or a fuel dock with fuel storage up on shore. They mistaken the next dock down is the Navy fuel dock. But they think they own everything just to harass you. And that's what gives around here a bad name. There's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Everybody and their brothers yelling at you around here. You know? Oh my God. So I know exactly what you're talking about, Blasted Cat. So it's just one thing after another. Do you have any of that in Long Island? I mean, can you tie off to a bridge? Can you?
Well, the one bridge around here that that's it produces fish, but there's really, I can't say there's really a way to tie off to it. The stanchions are so big, there's nothing to hook on to. It's just, a concrete stanchion with nothing to attach a rope to. I guess you would have to go around it with it pretty big. You'd have to go around it and loop a
You don't
rope
have
around
a,
it.
you don't have like a channel bumpers and you get off the backside of the bumper. No, nothing like that.
No, really. It's like I said, it's just like a vertical stanchion with nothing to attach a rope to. You know what I mean?
Is that the one we were talking about before that you said that really the stuff that's on the bottom is it's like a junkyard?
Oh yeah, that's the same one. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff down there.
Do
All
you
kinds.
get do you get the Coast Guard and everything acting like total ignoramuses up there?
Well, the Coast Guard station is right in front of that bridge.
Wow.
It's right there, and I mean, the only time they really don't bother you much. The only time that they bother you, which I can understand, is if you get too close to the mouth of their basin. You know what I mean? When they want to get out, they want to get out. If there is an emergency, they don't want you in the way. And I kind of understand that. That's the only time they really bother you,
Oh, man. During 9/11, that set them off. Here's the problem with the Coast Guard on the water around here is, at one point they were part of the Department of Defense, right? And then all of a sudden they turned into Department of Homeland Security. Maybe somebody knows different than me, but I mean, that's the stuff that I've read is they became part of from Department of Defense, Department of Homeland Security. And if you know anything about Department of Homeland Security is open checkbook. Anything you want, you get it. Anything. And with that obviously came, an attitude where they can't leave you alone sometimes.
Well,
9/11, oh my God.
Well, the Department of Homeland Security, they got a lot of things open right now, if you know what I mean. Their checkbook ain't the only thing that's open.
Oh, well, yeah, but I mean, it was just unbelievable back then. I mean, you felt like you were traversing the river and you had a big, picture of Osama bin Laden on top of your T-top or something, I mean, it was ridiculous. So,
yeah.
Yep. So that's it. Well, that was pretty much my rants. I didn't believe anybody was even going to show up here. Okay. For the sheer fact that I had to switch it from Sunday to Monday to do this. And the real reason, I mean, because I mentioned in that video that I did, it was because of my dad's birthday and he does dialysis and he ended up feeling like absolute crap Saturday, kind of after dinner time. So we always like to go out someplace where he chooses, and we went to a pizza place, but we went on Sunday instead. That's the reason I didn't do the live stream on Sunday, and that's the reason I moved it to Monday. And I know coming up here in the summer, the spring, or whatever, it's gonna probably get where it could be tough to do this on a Sunday at 6 because I might walk in the door at 4:30 on a Sunday, and then it's going to be really tough to do this. So all of this, just so everybody knows, we're kind of playing it by ear, as far as live streams. I would love to get other guests, other guests would be great. Some of the old faithfuls here, as I always call everybody, the usual suspects. It would be great to get somebody to come on and do this. The little bit of prep is the fact that all I got to do is send you a link, right? You go to that link, and then you have to have, let's say, if we're going to do it on, I don't know how to really, like I said, when it comes to these, these smartphones, dumb phones, as I call them, kind of count me out because mine's so old. It can't do much. I don't know if it could even do this StreamYard. I guess it can because I did it with Blake that time. So, and then if you have a laptop, Gary, you're using nothing but your laptop with your little webcam built into it, correct?
Yeah, I'm like you, Dave. I talk on my phone. Once in a while, I text, and then very, very seldom I'll use it. Has the map thing in it. If I need to, find out. Other than that, that's really all I do with it.
Yeah.
You know.
But my dad gave me for Christmas an actual webcam that is high definition because over here on my laptop, it wasn't, and it was old, and it's an old laptop. So I have a dedicated webcam now. You can see I can take it and I can bring it around here and I can do here. Look at that boot. Woohoo! There's a picture of those boots. So I can actually move things around. Look at it. There's Dr. Gary. So I can move things around now because I have a dedicated webcam that is supposedly, I don't know if it's 1080p. It could be a 1080p. I don't know. Maybe it's a 720. I don't know. But that's what you need. That's all you need. So if somebody wants to do one of these with me, one of these usual suspects, that's all you need is a webcam built into your laptop, really, just like Gary's using right now. So, any final thoughts there, Gary?
Not really. No, I mean,
should I tell the story of I'm trying to avoid it, of the fog? Remember the fog?
It's a pretty good story. Yeah, tell them the story, Dave. Tell them the story.
Okay. Oh yeah. Earlier, when was it? I'm trying to figure out what day it was. I think it was it the end of December? I don't know. Monday? No, it was Monday. Yeah. New Year's Day. I believe it was New Year's Day. Okay, I'll start with this. Here's another beef. I'm glad I brought this up because this is another beef in the charter business. I actually just had a customer change my policies. I used to do, and I've done it for years, a $100 deposit, advanced deposit, $100. And if it was less than 24 hours notice, it was half up front. Well, I had this woman and supposedly her husband book the day after Thanksgiving or the day before Thanksgiving, one or the other. I can't really remember. And here it is, the day before that, she calls me and says, oh, my sister's going to kill me if I'm not home for Thanksgiving, because they were coming down in their motor home or something from Tennessee. They were coming to Jacksonville. And she said, oh, my sister's just going to kill me if I'm not at home. So I said, so what's up? What's the story? Oh, can we come down? And we're going to come down there and we're going to want to fish on, I think it was New Year's Eve, not New Year's Day.
Did they want to fish? Did they want to fish or go deep sea fishing? Which one?
Well, probably deep sea fishing. Yeah.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
And that's a good one, Ed McMahon. She called me and says, I want, to switch our day. Can we do that? Okay, she goes from one holiday to another. My policy is if you want to switch your days, you have 30 days to do it without having to do a new deposit. And I let her slide because, of course, that was a couple days past being a month, a 30-day window. So I went, being the nice guy I am, I said, oh, okay. And then here it is the day before our trip, and I'm calling them. I called her. She literally answers the phone. I said, hey, this is Captain Dave Sport Fishing in Jacksonville. And she hangs up on me. Hangs up. So I went, I called her back. No answer. So I left a message. Hey, I'm trying to get a hold of you for your charter tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. And she's like, oh, well, please leave a message. So I do all that and I don't hear nothing. And then I text her because people have no problem texting me. No problem. They think I'm just sitting there with my text message right in front of my face all the time. So they text me. So I figured I'd text her. No response. I emailed her. No response. So here it comes. We're supposed to go out. I don't go out on that day because it was a Sunday, I believe. So I go out on, I think it was the 2nd of January by myself. I have not gone out on a by myself solo R&D trip in a year at least. A year. So I go out and it is so foggy, you can't see the front of the boat. And what happens while I'm out there? I run into like 2 feet of water or less at a certain place that I ran into it at the same thing like a year or two ago, in the exact same spot. And I bent my propeller and tore up my lower unit, my skeg, and bent it a little bit and everything. So what do? I'm out, not making any money. I bought 4 dozen or 5 dozen live shrimp. I didn't catch anything worth a hoot float rig fishing. I was looking for trout. I caught 2 and both of them fell off on the side of the boat. Other than that, I caught 2 catfish. I burned fuel, spent money on bait and ice, bent my prop, bent my skeg. Then I came back and across the street from the boat ramp is a mechanic that I use. I stopped there. He pulled the prop off for me. He says, this was a Monday. He says, they'll pick it up tomorrow. They pick up at Tuesdays and they drop them back off on Thursdays. I mean, they're sending them all the way to Central Florida through a place called General Propeller. And he says, they pick them up Tuesday. So he says, okay, they'll pick it up tomorrow. And then we'll give you a call on Thursday afternoon when they drop your prop back off. So that cost $160 to get the prop all refurbished, completely refurbished. So what turns out is, then on Thursday, I kind of got busy. They never called me. So Thursday evening, I get 2 people wanting to do the 2-hour kids trips that I do on Saturday morning. And they're wanting to know if they can book the trips right then and there, right now. And now it's Thursday at like 2:00 in the afternoon. And I tell them, I don't even have a prop on my boat. So I didn't hear anything. And I know by then the shop was closed up. So Friday morning at 7:30, I run to the shop and there's my prop sitting there. So then I go and I do these back-to-back kids trips. Okay. And everything's back to normal. But I mean, you can't in this business skip a beat, like have your prop or whatever, have an issue, because the minute you have an issue is the minute people want to go. I mean, I've learned that through the years. I mean, what did I do? Gary had to walk me through putting a new trim and tilt motor on my old Suzuki. And if I didn't get it right, I lost like 2 or 3 charters. I literally was doing it on like a Wednesday, and on like Friday, Saturday, Sunday or something, I had charters lined up that if I did not have a trim and tilt motor, I would have lost all those. I mean, that's how you're down to the absolute wire. That's why I hope everybody knows that's the reason I call this guy my chief mechanic, because he walked me through the entire process of putting that new trim and tilt motor on it and bleeding it and the wiring. Oh man, it was disaster.
Yeah. I remember you ran into one hitch and you sent me a text, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday.
Yes. Yeah. I figured that might get your attention.
Oh, it did. I didn't know. I didn't know what happened, man. I didn't know if you dropped the motor on you. I didn't know.
Well,
but it worked
out. I mean, you're looking at like losing a ton of money and having to reschedule these people because of a hiccup. You're not allowed to have hiccups in this business. Not at all. Okay. Frank said, I got to go. Great vid, Dave. Thanks. Thanks, Frank.
Bye, Frank.
Thanks for stopping by. But I mean, that's another thing. You cannot. So here it is. I shouldn't have gone on a solo R&D go play type fishing trip. It was super foggy. I should have known that already. Should never have gone. Just burn those shrimp, right? I mean, burn the bait. That was like $35 worth of shrimp or something and some ice. Diesel in the truck, gas in the boat, banged up prop, stress of having people wanting to go on Saturday morning at 7:30, okay, to make some money, okay, because YouTube ain't paying anymore. I mean, with the Biden economy here, I guess the advertisers ain't even paying, because income from this YouTube was way down last month. That's for sure. So it's a lose, 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 lose. And then I said, well, I better get a spare prop. And me and Gary, we tried an aluminum. It was basically the same size, wasn't it? Mine's a.
Dave, I meant to mention to you, I pulled that off the used shelf. It may have just had a spun hub in it.
Yeah, it could have. It might have. Gary sent me. This is how good this guy is. I banged my prop into that exact same place before and had to ship my prop off to get it fixed. Okay. And Gary sent me an aluminum to try to get out on charters with. And I did. I put it on and it wouldn't put my boat on plane. It was like, I couldn't go anywhere. So I did an entire charter going along like maybe 1,400 RPM the whole day. I'm going around and we're never getting on plane the whole day because that aluminum prop I just couldn't get on plane. It wouldn't put me on plane for whatever reason. So then, because of what just happened this past week, I found on boats.net the cheapest, and then they lied. These places lie. I found the cheapest stainless steel prop, a Suzuki prop, for my boat, the correct size and pitch and everything, on boats.net. And it said in stock. Wrong. You go ahead and you pay for this prop, which is expensive as holy hell, okay, to get a real Suzuki prop. And I get an email that it won't ship until the 12th. That's next Thursday. It won't ship until the 12th. But it said on their website, in stock. And I went, I want it because they're right up in Georgia. And when I order stuff from boats.net, I usually will get it the next day. And if not, the next day after that. So I'll get whatever I order within 48 hours. So I was thinking I was going to get my expensive Suzuki prop here within 48 hours. No. Now I probably won't get it until maybe the 16th. The 16th. So don't believe these websites that say in stock and all this. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. So that was $160. Let me do the I'm going to do the math on this just to show you how stupid things can be. Okay, I spent $35 on bait to go out by myself and catch basically nothing out in the fog. Okay, and then let's throw in another. Let's throw in another. Let's say 45 for fuel. Okay, so we're up to 35 plus. Let's say, maybe not $45, but let's say $40 for fuel. Okay. Then $160 to get the prop fixed. All right. So then the Suzuki prop with tax tag and title and everything ends up being about $650. Okay. Well, I spent $885 that day. That's what that day cost me. It will never, ever, 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 ever happen again. Number one, I'm never going out in that fog again. And number two, I know that river, and it's really, there's no reason for me to go by myself if I'm not making some kind of money and then doing a charter, because been there, done that. I got the t-shirt, you know. So it was a hard lesson learned, that's for sure. So take that to the bank when you go out in the fog. And I was driving around by my chart plotter, all zoomed in. I was just anchored up. I pulled my anchor. I went about 30 feet and I saw these other guys anchored there that I never even saw in the fog. And I kind of turned away from them, and I went from 20 feet to 2 feet, boom, right into a bunch of rocks. So, not good. Not good. Let's put it this way. Practice winning. Don't practice losing, because I do a lot of practicing losing for whatever reason. I don't know. I figured, hey, I could go out there and do that. I go out and just burn some shrimp and, see if I can catch some trout. Nope, it didn't work out that way. So Did you get any of this December? Do you get December fog up there, Gary? Where you're
Oh
at?
yeah, we had it a couple days ago. It was pretty thick.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It's actually quite dangerous because I'm sitting there and I'm hearing people just on plane running down the river.
That's why I don't go out in the fog. It's not me. I'm going to go slow. I know where I'm going. I'm worried about the other guy that's doing 30, 40 miles an hour, and he's just going to run you over and probably keep right on going if he does.
Yeah. I mean, and don't always think your chart plotter is like radar or something. It's not. I mean, I know where I know where I was. I fished there all the time. But when I pulled my anchor and I went forward a little bit and I saw these other guys, I veered away from them. And without like really thinking 10 steps ahead, boom, I went right into dead low tide, went right into a bunch of submerged rocks.
It's very deceptive. Fog is really deceptive. It's not, and it's not just the fog. You know, you hear a noise. It's hard to tell where it's coming from. You think it's coming from one place, but it's not. It's coming from another. It's just thick fog is, it's not a good idea. I don't do it myself all that often.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I'm off of it because December is when this time of year is when we get those super foggy days. And I can't even imagine if I had people on the boat. I can't go out. I can't take people out in that fog. There ain't no way in God's green earth. I mean, it's just so dangerous. So, all right, well, we're about an hour and 46 into this, and just look for. I'm gonna be doing a video about these as I wear them, because here's the thing. I've had these type of boots before, and from constant flexing right there, and that's about where this joint is. Let's see. That's about where this joint is. Eventually, that's where I had them crack, and they cracked because of like dry rot, believe it or not, out in the sun and stuff like that. They would crack right there where your foot bends, and then all of a sudden they're not waterproof no more.
But these have a lifetime guarantee, you said, right?
If you register them.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm going to do. They send you this card here. They send you this. Did you hear me say that it's kind of like the Bubba Blade?
Yeah. Yep.
Get in on the lifestyle.
Live the lifestyle.
Yeah. It says lifetime warranty. I don't know what this card is. Oh my God, it's glued on there. Adventurer member card. I hope, is this something you got to buy? I don't know. I got to go to their website and see what the deal is. You're invited to join the High Sea Adventurer. Totally free. Yeah, activate your card now. I'm going to do it because if they end up crapping out, maybe just keep getting a free pair.
Yeah, hey,
worth looking into. I'm going to go into more details. Well, maybe not more detail, but I'm just going to put these dudes through the ringer. That's for sure. The only thing that holds me back on these is in Florida, it gets kind of hot. And my feet are kind of sensitive to feeling hot. I don't know. So, but these are neoprene with rubber over them. So it's not like they're going to be super cool. They're not going to be cool out there on the boat. I don't know. I try to wear leather that breathes, so we'll see. Well, thanks everybody for stopping by. And that's pretty much about it. I don't know what I'm going to come up with next week or whatever, but we'll see. Any closing arguments, Dr. Gary?
No, I know how important it is, so you didn't say it, so I'll just say if you could hit the like button, it would help Captain Dave out quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. I always forget about all that stuff. Yes, we're doing this to try to broaden the channel a bit. That's the reason I kind of came up with this. Of course, probably things will cook up a little bit heavier duty in the spring and the summer. Hopefully, things will be cooking a little better than now in the wintertime. But that was the whole purpose of this. So pass it on. There's only three people watching right now. So we'll bid you farewell and thanks for stopping by.
All right, Captain Dave.
Remember the old Chinese credit score. All righty. Thank you, folks. I'll see you on the next one. More videos to come.
Take care.
See ya.